think we are almost live. We are gonna have fun. Hey everyone. Hi. Sorry. Just testing if just trying to make sure I don't end up having any technical issues. Uh so yeah, so hi everyone. I am Hayes and I in today's so if you have seen I've had a couple of let's talk about contributing live stream. And if you haven't, if this is your first time, I would recommend you also like check out our previous live streams about contributing to async API. And we try to like make these discussions as diverse as possible, right? From engineering to designs to docs, right? And in today's stream, right, I have with me a lot of amazing folks, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy today's stream because I think I've got some jokes, right? I just pretty laugh. So today with me, I have some amazing folks and from the community actually, and these folks are actually pretty interesting. I've actually did some collaboration with some of them, and also it's my first time meeting some of them also. So they are actually the current Google Season of Docs participant at Testing KPI. And so in today's stream, we are going to be talking about how to contribute to KPI documentations. So we'll talk about their open source journey, how they started contributing to open source, how they ended up, choosing the KPI, and yeah, we're gonna learn so much about documentations in general, from with people with different perspective, right? So we have like four guests today. I think four, yeah. So we have like four guests today. Without no further ado, we have to get right into it. So I'm gonna bring them up. Yeah. Why am I doing nervous? Why should the host be nervous? Isn't that weird? Yeah, really weird. So bringing you guys up, Anissa. We Where did Patrick go? Did someone see Patrick?
No.
No.
Okay, so we are live. Okay, we are live. If you want to show your camera, this is the best time to do that. So we are live. So you can mute, right, if you are not talking, just to avoid background noises. And so we're gonna start by introducing ourselves, right? So I think I can see Anisat first. So I'm sorry I'm calling you first, right? You're also the first to join the stream, so I should probably call you first.
Right.
So Anisat, do you mind introducing yourself?
All right. Hi everyone. My name is Anisat.
Hi.
I I'm a Google Season of Dogs contributor. What else? I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, actually, before I relocated to the United States. So I'm so excited to be here.
Hey,
Right.
we're family. Ha!
Right.
I found my family. Okay, thanks for the quick introduction, Anisat.
Thank you.
And to my right, I have my one and only boss, Tuli. Um, would you love to go next? I think Tuli just froze.
Oh
Okay,
yes.
since Tuli froze, Florence, would you love to go next?
Hi guys, my name is Lawrence. I live in Kenya, in Nakuru, and I am a Google Season of Docs contributor. I have been contributing to the generator tools documentation for the past 6 months. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Hi, Flores. We're so glad to have you on this call, man. It's an honor, a really big honor. Nelson, wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Nelson Michael. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a developer advocate, technical writer, and
That's
then a
too.
front-end engineer too. That's two, yeah. Yeah, so I started contributing to open source sometime last year, and then I got the opportunity to intern for Google Season of Docs, and so that's what I'm on right now, and it's been an exciting journey so far.
Come on, man. We are so excited to have you, contributing to Async API.
Peace, peace,
And can't
peace,
can't wait
peace.
to see what you act like do.
All right.
Patrick, wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. First of all, I'm super excited to be here. My name is Pratik. I live in Mumbai, India. I'm a student developer currently studying in India, Maharashtra. And I've been working on the generator tool documentation for the past 6 months during the Google Season of Docs documentation program. And yeah, I'm really glad to be here.
Same. We are also all glad to have you here today, Patrick. It's an honor. So for some reason, I think Tuli is having internet issues. So we're gonna have to kick off, without her. So once she comes, we can invite her back to the party.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you all know, I'm Ace. I think I have a title, but I love to call myself, the preacher at Async API. So I love to preach the gospel. I love to know, I'm a big fan of event-driven architectures, and Async API is where my heart is. So I try to like shove event-driven APIs and Async API off to people's throats. So you don't have a choice; you just have to like do it. You have to know it. So that's basically what I do. I'm a preacher at Async API, and I'm also the host. So I love to do a lot of live streams, like just like this one, right? We have you guys just let's talk something fun about contributing, and yeah, we have Tuli back.
Hey,
Hello, old friend.
can
Where
you?
have you been?
I just dropped off. I don't know what happened. Technical issues, I guess.
Ah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah. So, wanna introduce yourself?
Okay, what did others say? I don't know what others said. Where did I start?
Just give us a quick and formal introduction, and also tell us you're not a bot.
Okay, I'm not a bot. Bots don't sound like me, first of all. Okay, so I'm Tuli. I'm a technical writer. What else? Let me think. Okay, I'm Tuli. I'm a technical writer, data scientist. I am based in Cape Town. Yeah, that's it. For those who don't know me, I'm sure somewhere, somehow, if you're watching the Async API conference, you might know this face. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it.
our best host. So I'm gonna give you a quick shout out, right? So Tuli was our best host during the SNKPI conference, right? She rocks on stage. Like I think she should be an MC or something.
Right.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, so thanks for the introduction, Tuli. So as I was saying before, I'm Ace. Oh god, I have to like introduce myself again. I'm Ace. I'm a preacher at SNKPI. So if SNKPI was a church, so I'll be the pastor. So
Right.
that's basically what I do, right? So that's just a quick introduction about me. So in today's trade, right, we're gonna be talking about how to start contributing to docs, basic API docs, how you can become a contributor, your journey into open source, what you've learned so far as an open source contributor in terms of documentation. Now your encounters and your challenges and how you eventually like made it fun, right? Open source is fun, but I can see it's kind of hard for a lot of people also. So I'm gonna start myself, right? I have to lead by example, right? Since I'm the pastor, so and you're my like, what do they call people that come to church? Members.
Members, I
Members.
guess.
um, yeah, so I'm gonna give a quick how I eventually started open source, right? So I was in a library, a date library, in one of my projects, and there was a typo. It wasn't actually a typo, but it was a typo. So I was reading the documentation, and there was this I forgot the statement, but I feel it was supposed to be is, right, and it was written was, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Then I opened an issue and told the maintainer, oh, this is supposed to be a is, not was. And I was like, no, was is correct. I was like, no, is not was. And I was like, was is correct. Like from what so we started going back and forth. Is was. And I didn't leave him. It has to be well, is not was. And I was like, fine. Just fix it. Just just correct it. You want is, fine, just put is. Then I fixed the typo and changed it to is. And he was like, really? You did? It was like, really? You opened a pull request for that? And I was like, yes. Then it matched the pull request. And that was how I started into open source. Like that was my journey into open source. Just a simple, random, weird stuff, right?
I
I
understand
got my
that
pull request
feeling.
matched. So yeah, and I was like,
Yeah, I can
this is
relate.
amazing. Like this is fun, right? Not my project, somebody else's projects. My contribution is there. Ever since I started doing a lot of contributions, so I've contributed to the likes of React, Parcel, much more, right? And eventually, where I finally found where my heart is, right? So I've looked for my heart up and down in open source. Then I found CKPI. So I fell in love at first sight. That is real. This is a real thing, right? Love at first sight. I get to experience it as a CKPI because of the amazing community they have, and I felt a part of it instantly, right? Then I think I don't have to go in depth. This is not my stage. It is all yours. So Anisat, wanna go first? I would have to
All
call you
right.
first because you joined first.
All right. Okay, so my journey into open source started like when I attended a conference back in 2020. There's this popular open source conference in Africa, and that's Open Source Community Africa. It's popularly known as OSCAR. So that was where I first learned about
Oscar
open
first.
source. Yes. And at that time, I just started my journey into tech, right? So as a new techie, you're always wanting to like go to conferences and you want to network and meet people and all
Mhm.
of that. I never heard about open source. I just wanted to be there. So then different speakers spoke about open source, I learned from there, but I still didn't contribute right after the doors of that conference. So fast forward to
Mm.
like August later that same year, I like read an article by someone, and then she wrote about how to contribute to open source for beginners, right? And I loved all she wrote inside of that article, and luckily she added our Twitter handle inside of that article. So I reached out to her on Twitter, and I was like, okay, I want to contribute to open source, but it's really like, how would I put it? It's kind of strange for me, and I don't know how to start. I don't know where to begin. Who do I speak to, even if I see an organization I want to contribute to? So I reached out to her, and she was very nice and friendly, and literally handheld me, right, to contribute to one of the organizations she was contributing to at that time. So, and she made me understand that there is towards contribution is beyond just like maybe contributing to the code base or something. You can also contribute through documentation, as simple as fixing typos, like you've said. So, and she literally handled me, and then that was it. That was my first contribution to open source through documentation, and since then I've been contributing mostly through documentation. So yeah, I am, as well as a GSOD intern.
Oh, awesome. So I have a takeaway. So it seems when I do open source, just go to conferences. So yeah, actually, no, like I actually like from your story, right? You started due to a conference, right? And I
Yeah,
think just go to conference.
right.
Just go. Okay,
That's
go.
the first step, right?
So yeah. So Florence, so you're the next person on my screen. Wanna go next?
Sure. Um, I'd say my journey in open source started in 2019 while I was still at university. Um, I started by contributing to Hacktoberfest because I wanted a t-shirt.
Oh, hey man, what's up?
Yeah, I really wanted a t-shirt. So that was the main motivation towards contributing to Hacktoberfest, and I got one. So it was kind of a bragging right, but I think my journey truly in open source has started this year when I applied to GSOD and I got accepted into Async API. And I've really been loving it. I've been really enjoying the process and yeah, learning a lot.
Awesome.
Awesome. I don't
I
know
think
who should go next
Ace
now.
left the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Must be
maybe
some
I should.
issue.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
next, right?
Nelson.
Yes,
Right.
Nelson, you can go
All
next.
right. So I think I had similar experiences to what Anisan had to. So I kind of knew about open source sometime in 2020. And that was because I attended this conference, Open Source Community Africa, ESCA. It's really popular in Africa. So
Right.
that was when I heard about open source, and I had no idea what it was and what to do. I was just hearing about it. But then I did some research. Then fast forward to about 2021, write an article for Log Rockets, and then I was using this tool, and then they had a typo on their website. So I reached out to them, checked their GitHub repo, and then saw that I could fix it. So I raised an issue, made a PR, and pushed it. So that was like my first open source contribution, and then moved to 2022 GSOD, and then I've been on that now.
Right.
Yeah. So I
Who will
think
go next?
Pratik should go next.
Pratik, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So my very first contribution was back in 2020. So I remember I got into open source because there were a few friends of mine who got selected in GSOC, and I got, at the same time the popularity of open source in India was rising, like it was very high at that time. I saw a lot of YouTubers doing a lot of great stuff, and then I shifted to Twitter, and every tweet I saw was how to get started in open source, the benefits of open source. And I'm still a student. I was in second year at that time, and I realized that I don't have any real world experience on my resume because I had learned a lot of programming languages till then, but I didn't have uh, the experience of working on a real world project. So I just went on to the GSOC organizations page, and at the time I was doing Android development, and I selected an organization of an Android app, and their documentation page. I just fixed a small typo at that time because that app had a separate documentation channel, and at that time I was way too afraid to directly jump into the development related stuff, and I fixed a small typo. And I remember having a lot of setup issues and all that, and getting very nervous about that. But I think the experience of your first PR getting merged, it's like greater than anything else. And
Yes. True.
then straight forward to GSOD 2022, I started working on the real world documentation. So in the beginning, I remember, I think GSOD interns will remember it. There was an definition of event driven architecture missing from one of the pages, and I, along with a friend of mine who's also a regular contributor in Async API, we actually fixed and added that documentation in the main website documentation channel. And yeah, that's how I got started doing real world documentation stuff in open source.
Looks like we all started with fixing a typo.
I know, right? It kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I think Tony should go next now.
Fully.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I started open source with Outreachy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Outreachy. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was
Yeah, yeah.
so I heard about Outreachy during She Code Africa. So I applied and I got in. The first round was done. Then the second round was contributing into open source. So I didn't start by fixing a typo, no. But I had to create like a notebook where we had to take like Wikipedia articles, and I can't really remember the details of the whole project. But yeah, that was my first contribution to open source. Although I didn't get in the first time, then I applied the second time again. I didn't get in. Then this one came around. Then I said, okay, since I like writing so much, let me just try it out. Then the rest is history. Here we are today.
Yeah.
I know exactly how you feel about Richie. I've applied like 3 times already.
Same here. I can testify to that.
I think Ace is back now.
And the host is
Uh,
fine.
sorry, I'm back.
Yeah.
My network wants to betray me, so
Sorry.
I have no idea what I did. So I'm back now. So I'm not gonna go back. So I'm gonna on YouTube just to know what I missed. And yeah, so I believe you will share your job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your video is lagging a
Since my
little bit.
network is crazy today.
Yes. I
Yeah, I
think
noticed
it's
that.
lagging.
Okay. Um. How about now?
I think it's
Yeah.
fair.
That's
Yes.
fine.
Okay. So now, so sorry. I hate it when I have a technical issue.
It's always frustrating.
For real.
Happens to the most of us.
We went for the first century and we still have internet issues. Isn't that weird? Our ancestors lived.
Right?
Yeah, so let's get back on track, right? So you guys shared an amazing story on how you started contributing to open source. But so how did you guys like Anissa? So I'm gonna go first. How did you end up, choosing? I'm sorry, I just have to call you because I can see you first.
I know.
So how did you end up end up at KPI? And so 2 questions actually. How did you end up at KPI? And what made you feel you are at the right place?
Okay, so answering the first question, I like when I heard that the Google Season of Docs program was open for the year 2022. I started going through the list of projects and the list of proposals that were available, right, and that were
Mhm.
accepted because they had to be accepted for them to be there. So I went through each of them, and SNKPI being the first on the list, like I actually took my time, like studying about Asinkefia and all of that. And when Alejandra made a tweet about like she's looking for interns, right, to work on the project, I signified my interest and then joined the Slack community. So I sent her a message that I would love to participate in the program, and then forwarded my email to her and all of that. So she conducted interviews, and I was ready because I've made my research and all of that. So I was ready for the interview, and then after the interview I was surprised I got in, like, after applying to other kind of open source programs, and then you're rejected, and you saw yourself, like, being accepted to one of the best open source programs. You feel happy, and it felt so surreal. So I was so excited about the opportunity. I knew that I was definitely going to learn and grow. And what made me sorry, what's your second question again? What made me um
Or maybe you feel you're at the right place.
yes, what made me feel that I'm in the right place? The community is very welcoming. I really love the fact that everyone in the community were really like ready to accept you in. Alejandra was there. She was willing to give you resources to like put you up to speed on, because I had no idea about what event driven architecture is all about. I'm mostly a front end person. My own is just to design, build web interfaces, right? So when when I'm hearing about event driven architecture, I'm like, okay, I don't know about this thing, and here I am, and I have to contribute, right? Give my best shot. So she was really there, like very helpful. She shared a lot of resources that put me up to speed. Lucas also did a couple of onboarding videos that really helped as well. So the community is very, very welcoming, and I'm definitely still going to be contributing right after GSOT. So
Yeah, I can vouch for that. So you would eventually still contribute. Actually, because I actually started contributing because I was also a Google season of docs. I'm sorry, a season Google of code participants. I think
oh,
that was last year at Postman, right? And I was so interested in event-driven architecture, so I was in KPI. I was doing a lot of stuff, right? But then after the program, right, I couldn't just leave because I was so involved, right? I was learning so many cool stuff. I was building amazing tools. I was like doing so many interesting things, and I couldn't just leave. Then I said, "Fuck it, I'm doing this full time." Then I was so
right.
invested, and eventually I got an offer to like be part of the full teams full time. So open source is great. So I promise you can't leave. You and this, you are stuck.
I'm stuck.
We are
I'm
in this
hooked.
together. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm
hooked.
hooked.
I promise you that. Florence, when I go next,
Sure. What was the first question, please?
why did you choose in KPI?
Okay. I don't think I chose a sync API. I feel like the first time I came across a sync API was on Twitter. When I saw the tweet by Alejandra about GSOD, that she was accepting GSOD interns. And during that time frame, I was also like looking through the list and trying to figure out something that I can contribute to. And from the application process, after I joined the Slack channel, I DM'd her and she gave the application process. It was pretty straightforward, and I gave it my shot, and I booked a time slot with her for an interview. And from the first interaction that I had with Alejandra, I really, really felt like I loved Async API as an organization, mostly because of her, because she was really friendly, and she was, even from the first meeting, she was giving me resources. I asked her about how can I get started contributing and stuff like that. And she gave me a link to the list of issues that are there on GitHub and told me to look through it and see if there's something that interests me. And I knew from that point, even if I didn't get accepted as an intern, I'd still really, really love to contribute. And 6 months down the line, I also really feel sad that this one is coming to an end because I feel like I really met awesome people, and the Async Pay initiative is really, really nice. And generally, working with everyone has been pleasant, learning a lot. It just feels like I'm part of this community. So even after GSOD, I'm definitely still going to contribute. So yeah.
That was awesome. So I'm gonna give a special shout out to Alejandra. Like for
Yeah.
real. Even
Yeah.
the fact that we are like on the same team, I still learn a lot from her. And she doesn't just provide resources for you guys. Also, she gives me a lot of resources, tons of resources, right? And I really like appreciate. So a special shout out to Alejandra. You know, you're the best. You're the best. You did amazing stuff for the community. Like for real. Nelson, you're the next person I can see.
Okay. So picking Async API for me was really a no-brainer. First of all, when I saw the application for the proposal for GSOD, when I saw the proposal for GSOD, right, it was very articulate, and then I kind of knew what they wanted from the program, right? And what they wanted to achieve. So I felt like, okay, I could align my goals with this, and it was very clear for me to follow, right? So that was like my deciding factor there. But then again, another very important factor was I felt very welcome because Alejandra kind of made it seem like we were all part of one big family, right? So even during the application process, it was still like sharing resources, do this, helping you learn how to contribute even before the program started. So all of this, and I was a junior. I'm a junior to contributing to docs. So all of this put together just helped me decide. Okay, I wanted to do this, and this is the right place for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel we all owe Alejandra somehow. Yeah, Pratik?
Yeah, so the first time I joined Async, the reason I joined Async API initiative was that basically it was the first organization listed in the GSOT one. So I clicked on it and I saw a post created by Alejandra. I think, yeah, it was Alejandra. And it specifically stated that, hey, we welcome beginners. And that was kind of very comforting because I think we were all beginners when we joined it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when I joined the Slack channels, I think everybody was very active, the community, Async API community. And especially Alejandra was very active. I remember the day I joined, I had some setup issues. And I asked someone from the Async API community, and Alejandra replied to me. And on the same day, we had a meeting, like a Google Meet, where she resolved my issues, and that was very exciting aspect for me because no one had really responded that quickly to me. So I remember thinking that even if I don't get selected in this GSOT program, I'll probably continue contributing to the docs and stuff. That's why I selected the AC KPI initiative.
Wow. Awesome, right? So I think I can also relate to your story, Pratik. So I think when I started like contributing to SNKPI, I was stuck, right? I was working on an issue, and we have an amazing folk called Mashik in the community, and it's my first time contributing, right? And I just reached out to him instantly, like it was as if he knew me already, right? And this is my first time contributing to the community, right, to the project, and we were going back and forth. I went directly straight to his DM, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So we had a really nice conversation, and I think that's one thing about the community, right? We are very very amazing. I don't even know. Amazing is not the word to use, right? It's that's underqualified for us, right? So that's why we are a community first, right? We put the community even above the project, right? So and I think what Alejandra is doing and what she did is amazing for the community, right?
Yes.
Tuli?
Okay, so my story coming across with Async API. I didn't know that GSOD was open actually until I saw Alejandro's tweet. And I'm lazy. So this whole thing of writing proposals, I wasn't really into it actually. So when she said, "Okay, you don't need to write a proposal, you need to book a set," I said, "Okay, let me just apply and see how it goes." I didn't know anything about Async API. I didn't know anything about event trigger architecture until I met Alejandra that day. So yeah, so one thing led from the tweet to inbox to the meeting as well. Then I had a nice chat with Aliandra. She was so welcoming. We were like in a conversation, we are so in sync. I mean, like our conversation lasted more than 30 minutes, of which it was not supposed to happen like that. Then I got a notification that I got in. My Slack was buzzing actually that day, and my WhatsApp, like people say, "Hey, congratulations, we hear that you entered." I didn't even know that day as well. So yeah, so fast forward, like I didn't know anything about EDAs or Async API. Then later on, I got onboarded by Lucas and also Karuna, one of the GSOD interns, onboarded me using Git as well. Then one thing led to another. Then I started contributing, understanding what EDA is, and yeah, that's how it has been so far.
Yeah, like isn't that amazing, right? So the community, ATKPI spends so much of resources in building a better community, right? So I'm gonna bust your bubbles. So for you to know how amazing the community is, right? You can, for instance, Tuli or Anisat can decide just say, Ace, I want to host the next live stream. You do it. Like, that's just it. Like, you can reach out to me and say, hey, Ace, I want to do this. I want to be the face of the community at this particular event, or I want to host a Let's Talk contribution live stream just like this, right? You want to be the host, and I just step down, right? Because we are all part of the community. It's equal, and I think that is amazing because we treat all of us as the same. So, and I think that is one thing I feel a lot of such community out there are missing. Most of them treat the project first with the community, and we put the community first with the project, because without the community, there is no project. So we are family actually. So we are family. So yeah. So far, you guys, Florence reminded me, which you shouldn't have reminded me, that the summer of dogs is coming to an end. Uh, so thanks for reminding me actually. So since the program is coming to an end, so I would love you guys to share your experience, contributing so far, what you've learned, your challenges, how you've overcome this, I'm pretty sure this won't be a sub story. Yeah, so okay, so I'm not gonna call Anissa at first because she's already looking. She's already looking. So Tuli, you wanna go first?
Okay, so no problem. I don't mind. Ada, what was your question again?
So your experience so far, contributing to Eastern KPI Docs.
It's been a great experience actually. I learned a lot, especially when it comes to communication, collaboration, writing, especially technical documentation. Like I said, I didn't know anything about EDAs, and funny enough, my first doc was the most hardest doc that I got. Like, to create servers, there was nothing, literally nothing on servers. I had to go back and forth. I can't remember how many comments were in my pull request. I think we're over 80 or something. So it was really, really hard. But thank you so much, Aliandra, for assigning me that doc because it made me resilient. It tested me in all ends, like communication wise, writing wise, technical documentation, researching, and as well using my Mehmet JS, creating diagrams as well. It was the fun part. So it was all a good experience, learning curves, and it has been fantastic. And I can't say enough. If we start talking now, I think I'm not sure what's the title above the preacher. Oh yeah, let me end it there.
Awesome. Thanks for Shirley. That was amazing. So what are some challenges you feel you had? So I want this to be fun, right? I was feeling, imposter syndrome is real, right? So
Mhm.
I did you face any kind during this particular time?
Yes, I did face imposter syndrome because I'm like, okay, I don't know the engineers. I don't know Lucas. I haven't spoken to Lucas. I don't know Sergio. I haven't spoken to Sergio. I don't know Fran. So how do I approach these people? Like, to ask, okay, what I wrote, is it correct? Can I have resources? Can you review my pull request? So those were some of the challenges. Imposter syndrome, number one, that I can mainly highlight. But like I said, I think API community is a family. Everyone is welcoming. Everyone is willing to jump there and say, "Oh, okay, this is where you got wrong. This is where you got right. This is how to go," and provide resources as well and direction. And everyone was willing to say, "Okay, if you don't understand anything, let's jump into a call and I'll explain everything." So yeah, imposter overcoming imposter syndrome was one of the challenges that I faced. So
And it is amazing that if even the community actually helped you, come over that, right? You don't have to be, they are human, and it's open source, right? So why are you scared? Yeah, that is fun to share. Tuli, that's amazing. Patrick, wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. So one of the challenges I faced was I remember thinking that before writing documentation, I need to know each and every aspect of the generator tool because I work on the generator tool under Lucas. And I remember thinking that and being super nervous about it. But as the program went, and Lucas also told us that it was good that we are learning about the generator tool as we are writing docs about them. So that was a different experience, learning bits by bits about different components of the generator tool. I remember my first issue was restructuring the existing generator documentation, and it was kind of scary because it was at one place and it was at scattered along various repositories. So my first issue received like I had 100 plus commits, which was the first time because Alejandra, as you must have known, Alejandra is very strict about checking them. But
Damn it, I can relate.
and it was full of learnings. I received like I had a lot of merge conflicts and I resolved them, and also learned bunch of new stuff. And yeah, I think that was very fulfilling, learning about the generator tool as well as technical writing in general. Yeah, so that was it.
Yeah, I think that was amazing. Did you feel like you were not enough during the program? Like
I'm
when you
sorry.
started? I said, did you feel any imposter syndrome when you started, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I did, uh, but I was quick to overcome it because there were a lot of helpful people from the community. As someone said that they were always ready to jump in a meeting if we didn't understand something, and we did a lot of meetings like that. Me and Lucas and Alejandra. Whenever I did not understand something, they actually sat me through the meeting and explained every bits of it. And so yeah, there was imposter syndrome, but the people in the community made it very easy to overcome it.
Awesome. So you folks might be asking or might be thinking, oh, why is Ace asking us if you had imposter syndrome? So the reason I was asking because when I started contributing to Ocean KPI, right? So I started like appearing before. So I think I used to hold community meetings and I used to attend community meetings, but I never had my camera on. So they noticed that, right? So I attend meetings, but I never had my camera on. And they noticed that, and they reached out to me. I think Wuka specifically reached out to me and said, Ace, why are you always like, I was like, I'm scared. I don't know. I don't. It was like, are you a monster? I was like, no, I'm human. Like, sure, if you're human, just have a camera on. So the next meeting, I had my camera on, but I couldn't talk. Just looking. I have questions, right? I couldn't ask. Then he noticed that again. He came back to my
Oh,
And technology.
Expert.
issues, right?
Yeah.
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 Taking us back to
Right.
I think Nelson, you can go next while we wait for Ace to come back.
Like, what's your
because
experience like? And then the challenges you faced, right?
my experience so far business suggest has been really has been a wonderful. I know upgrades like growth in technical writing aspects, feedback as well. I know I really grew in those parts. In the process of JSO, I was actually going to give accolades to Lucas here. Lucas, what it does is tell you what you're doing wrong, what you're supposed to do right, and then do it. So it's me and like during my rest of the experience and then kind of smoothing the process for me and made it easy for me to contribute and all of that. So as for imposter syndrome, I had my own fair share of imposter syndrome because I remember wanting to contribute to something that I had no idea about because I didn't know what an event-driven architecture was. I watched a lot of tutorials, read articles just to wrap my head around it, but we're still not coming together until after Lucas did the whole live stream where we had five episodes, I think. So that kind of puts a lot of things into context for me, and then helped me pass that imposter to contribute more completely. So yeah, that's been the experience.
We can't hear you. Yes.
I don't think he can hear us.
Oh,
Mm, he's out
technical
again.
issues.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess Florence can
So
go,
maybe on your
right?
side. You're running away from
Oh,
TS.
okay. Okay. So my experience has been amazing actually. I learned quite a lot. Like I said earlier, I had no idea about event driven architecture. So there was a lot of reading to do, right? From reading different blog posts to watching the tons of YouTube tutorials on Async API channel. And then Lucas was really helpful with the onboarding videos he did, which Nelson mentioned. Like that kind of put a lot of
Yeah.
things into order, right? Like, from that really helped me understand the projects more. And then like things I had an idea of things to write about and all of that. So for the challenges, right? The first challenge I had when I joined Async API was the setting up the project on my PC. My PC at that time, I could not like run the build locally on VS Code, so I had to use like the Git pod that was also mentioned, the alternative. So still I had issue with that. So Lucas helped me like with resolving that issue, and that's one of the challenges. Imposter syndrome as well. I had my fair share. At some point, I was like, "Oh, can I do this? Will I be able to do this?" Since I had no knowledge about event driven architecture. But I kept on, like telling myself, you can do this, you can do this, learning how to code itself, it's a thing. So trying to like learn something new should not be strange to you as someone who like, for example, like myself, switching from a different background to tech. So I felt that I can do this. And with the help of Alejandra as well, she really made it like awesome that, okay, yes, she was really patient, very, very patient. So she kept on, telling me that, okay, yes, that you can do this and all of that. So yeah, yeah, we are.
Nice.
No.
Oh no, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Unfortunately, it's a live stream. We are not in the newsroom. We could have gone for an ad break. Okay, while Ace is still playing around. Okay. Yeah, I just also want to say shout out to Lucas, shout out to Alejandra for the work that they're doing. I mean, they've been patient
Very
and
patient,
very
So
honestly.
patient,
patient.
especially when it comes to like the
Yeah.
documentation. Sometimes we will write the grammar is looking that side, the documentation is this side, nothing is mixing at all. And I mean, like
Yeah.
when you're reading, they took the time to read, like to understand the technicalities, to correct the grammar,
Yeah.
and to make sure that everything, like before it gets merged, is up to date. And yeah, so I also want to thank Alejandra,
Yeah.
Lucas, and everybody else who has been helping us through this just so journey. Like you guys are the best. And yeah.
Let's not forget having to do with the diagrams. Yeah. That was another.
Hmm. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
that's actually true. The diagrams, the learning curve for the diagram,
Yeah.
that's very true. Like figuring out how to like add this and that, make it look
Mhm.
this way. It was really challenging. True, true, true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Back to the party.
You're late.
Yay! Finally.
I'm always having issue with restroom every single day. I don't know what I did to restroom. I don't know. Just tries to fuck her up every single time. So sorry for that. My power went out earlier. I'm in Lagos,
Okay.
Nigeria. Okay, we don't
I
have
know.
24/7 power supply.
So you're outing us. You're
So
outing us.
I have to do that. Okay. So
No, it's
I
every.
think okay.
It's
No,
everywhere, right?
mine is worst. Nigeria is worst. Hey, now say stop trying to cover up. Just tell the truth, man. We are.
I'm just being
Just tell the
I'm just
truth.
being patriotic here, essentially.
No, no, stop it. No, we are not. It is not everywhere. Ours is worst. Just tell the truth, man. So I've had a lot of calls where my power just goes out. Boom, I'm black. So
Boom.
I,
Oh,
I'm glad I'm black. I'm back now. So I missed a lot of. I'm gonna watch the recap of these videos to watch where I missed, right? So, and I guess it's been so much fun. You guys spoke about how instant KPI eventually helps you, also not just help you contribute, right? They also bring out the best in you, and I think that's amazing, right? I also I before I couldn't even appear on streams, right? So but look at me now. I'm always like chilling on live streams. I want to do live streams every time. And isn't that amazing? So I actually started doing this thing because it seems fun, right? It's a KPI. The community helped me bring out the beast that was sleeping in me. Like they up me, and now I'm always pumped. I'm hosting community meetings. I'm doing a lot of stuff. Just because the community told me I can do it. Yes, and I'm virtually doing it, right? Like I'm also like speaking at conferences, like events. I couldn't do that before, right? Now I speak at conferences. I was at Oscar Fest in Nigeria earlier this year, right? So if you so I'm pretty sure I would also be at a couple of conferences like next year, which Oscar Fest is part of it. So we'll be part of the sponsors of Oscar Fest. I'll try my best to make sure Postman sponsors the next Oscar Fest, and also another conference is coming up, which I will be in Tuli's country, where I get to confirm if Tuli is not a bot. So ACKPI, isn't didn't doesn't just like give you just come back to the community, and I feel that's part of giving back to the community. Yeah,
yes.
so if you even after the Google season of docs, right, you can still be part of the family, right? So for an example is this: so the ambassador program. So ACKPI is currently like working on an ambassador program, right? You could be part of the ambassadors, right? You help preach the gospel. You talk about CKPI's conferences. You get something back in return, right? So that's part of the things you can also like do after the Google season of docs, right? We also like have mentorship programs. So if you feel, oh, after Google season of docs, I want to do mentorship, right? We do it every year. So you guys are like the first set of the. I think this is our first time participating in Google season of docs, and you're the first set of people that actually and also our mentorship program also we started this year, so which is also, yeah, so special shout out to you guys. So that's it. So there are tons of ways to like keep contributing to this KPI. I don't know a lot about writing docs, but I think I'm also like learning so much now because Alejandra, I'm a student actually, so I'm not say I'm a student because she's helping me a lot, to understanding how docs work. All I do is write codes. For now, I'm more diverse. I write. I'm starting to write documentations also. So I also have questions, right? And I feel you guys will be the like. So I see myself as as a beginner, right, in writing docs, right, in writing documentations, and as a beginner, and I feel maybe other people that are watching this stream later would eventually be beginners also, and they might have some questions also. So I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna act. I'm a beginner, so I'm not gonna act as a beginner because I'm a beginner. So I have a couple of questions, right? So My first one, I was writing a particular documentation about um, how changes are introduced to the specification, right? So I wrote this documentation, but unknowingly to me, Alejandra actually told me this looks like a blog post. No, so no, for real. And to me, I was like, "What? What do you mean it's like a blog post?" And I was like, "It is a docs, not a blog post." And I was like, "I don't understand." So it was like she was like, "So docs are not meant to be that long. So this looks like an article." But now I have a question. So how do I know when this should be an article and when this should be a docs? Because, dude, to be honest, I'm confused.
Okay. Think let me. Anyone wants to answer first?
No, you can go ahead.
You already started, so carry on.
Yes.
So dogs are meant to be like straightforward, straight to the point. I'm not sure if you're used to nails. So when you hit the nail, it's go straight pump. So that's what dogs are.
Yep.
Dogs are concise, straight to the point. They don't explain a whole lot of story. There's no storytelling actually, unlike blog posts. Blog posts is more of storytelling and keeping the user engaged. And with docs, it's just something that is straightforward. Okay, do you want to use Git or do you want to install Python 3.6? You just go pip install 3.6. That's done. That's docs for you. But if you want to write a blog post, then you need to start with storytelling and say, okay, you want to install Python. This is how you do it. This is how you go about it. First, pip install. Why do we use pip? Why do we say install next? So those are the differences between docs and blog posts.
Oh, really? So I thank for the explanation. So and I think because I felt, oh, I'll change that into the specification. Then I was like pouring everything down. So I was to be honest, it was long and I was told this doesn't look like a documentation. This looks more of an article. So with our help, right, we were able to like reduce it, and we had just really smart content. And that was the docs. And I was like, wow, wow, how come? How did we do it? So I think that's one of the questions I have concerning what the difference is between when this should be an article or a documentation. And also the second question I have is how do you think if you are new to like contributing to maybe a technical writer, right? Oh, and that brings is every technical writer like writing docs? Because when you say technical writer, I feel those that write blog posts about technical stuff, right? Are they different?
I don't think they're different. I think you can do that and then do the other one as well.
Oh, you can do
So I think you
both.
can be, yeah. I don't think they're different, right? So you might be writing blog posts and where you at, and then in situations you might be writing documentations and it just depends on where you are.
Okay, now I understand. So imagine now I have a question, another question actually. So if I am like new to contributing, right, to docs, right, how would you advise me to get started, right? What are some things I have to know? So in order to start contributing to a sync API as from the docs, so what do I have to know? Because I know there are tons of issues that are docs related on GitHub, right? And maybe I want to pick one. Just only picking one. How do I go about it? How do I get started? And for instance, maybe I'm not familiar with event-driven architectures, right? And maybe it is related to event-driven architectures. Do I have to look for simpler issues to get started with, or just go ahead and start doing it?
Okay. Let me take that.
Okay, let me answer based on my experience.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Carry on, answer.
Okay, so let me answer based on my experience as well. Like when you see a
Oh, two
project,
experiences.
No. when when you see a project that you like or that resonates with maybe your skill level or something, the best thing is to like maybe reach out to the community, like join the Slack channel and then ask questions. And then also visit the repositories and then check out the issues. The one labeled with good first issues or first, I think good first issues are always like what is
Mhm.
labeled as. So you reach out to the maintainer that you would like to like contribute to this project, and if it has been assigned to someone else, possibly you won't be assigned that project, right? So if it's not assigned to someone, you can be assigned to that task and then you start contributing. And also when you're new to a particular project, it's always good to like read the contribution guidelines so that when you contribute, whatever you do is in line with what the organization or the project requires. So it's always good to like first off ask questions, reach out to the maintainer and then read the contribution guidelines and then contribute. That's based on my experience.
Yeah, so I have a question based on your experience, right? You say you ask if this issue is assigned to someone already, right? But in at a KPI, right, we don't actually assign issues, right? What do you do
Okay.
in that case?
You just signify your interest, like you love to like work on this issue and then that's it.
Okay, that works. So, person want to share based on your experience?
Okay, yeah. So for me, before I started contributing to Async API, I think the very first project, in fact, is to have an idea of what the project is. That would put like a lot of things in the perspective of what you want to contribute to, right? But the next step, which is to read the contributions guide, that would know how to submit PRs. There are certain rules, right, in a particular repository. The reading contribution guide is very important. And then, like Anissa said, factor here, so you need to ask questions as how to go about contributing. So in case maybe you're in the conditions guide, you know the issue certain projects, you can talk to someone on the community and then get answers. So that's it. Have an idea of what the project's about. Make sure you read the contributions guide, be a part of the Slack channel, and then just be there.
Awesome. So, as a contributor, right, as a new contributor to Docs, I want to contribute to Async API. So are you saying, okay, what do I do when I get stuck? Should I reach out to you guys or what?
Yes. I think
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
like
I did have the experience.
reach out to anybody that you see who has participated in dogs. We have all been there actually. So I think we are the best people to ask questions. But if you can also like check on the how to contribute channel, or you
Yeah.
can send a message on the docs channel as well. Anybody who's awake or who's online at that moment will be happy to assist you.
Oh, cool. So I'm stuck. I can just reach out to Tully or Nelson or Florence and say, "Hey guys, I'm stuck. I need help." But now, what if, because now you say, because I know based experience, so sometimes your issues get tons of discussions, a lot of comment. Yeah, and I think isn't it doesn't that test up? I'm talking from experience, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
we have these issues. Well, because I don't know how it applies to docs, right? So I feel right. Maybe I'm trying to like make add a feature or fix a bug, right? And comment and comment and comment and comment and comment, and I'm feeling like, in terms of docs, does that how do you think as a new contributor I can handle the patience, right? Imagine having 80 comments just because I want to. Like for real. So
I mean,
how do you
it's
think as a new contributor?
for me. take it as a
Yeah, continue, please.
learning phase. Feedback is very important. Like for me, my first doc, like I said, I think I got over 80. I can't remember the exact number. It was over 80. So, but each and every time there is feedback, I got to improve. I got to understand better. I got to apply the knowledge that I got a little bit better. So be open minded, accept feedback as it comes, and apply that into your docs or into your code or whatever the case may be. So be happy that there are comments there rather than not having a pull request that is comments. Just be happy that people are there to help you. That's from my case. I'm not sure about the others.
I think I can add on to what Tuli has said. Because I remember my first pull request here at a Sync API. The first review by Alejandra, I got like 75 comments, like the very first time. And I remember I felt really, really overwhelmed, and I was procrastinating on addressing the issues and like taking all the feedback that was left. But during our next meeting with Alejandra, I remember her telling me that she has reviewed my PR, and I told her I've not yet started it because I saw it was a lot of feedback. I got overwhelmed, I procrastinated, and I don't have the motivation to like open it and address the issues. And she told me most of the feedback that she has left are suggestions. So I feel like if you're contributing to docs in open source, most of the feedback that will be left, especially for the reviews, sometimes it's suggestions. So all you have to do is accept suggestion, and if you are told to like most of like 50 or so comments are just suggestions, so all I had to do was accept them. So if you're faced with such an issue, don't be intimidated. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're watching this live stream and it's your first time contributing, or you're interested in contributing to documentation and you're scared, right? Imposter syndrome is real, and open source you might feel, it's open source. I don't know these folks, or is my pull request gonna hang in there forever without actually getting merged? What can I do? So I'm gonna give you this, right? I feel CKPI is the best start, contributing, and I'm not sure. I can even say, I can even vouch. I'm not sure there's a pull request that seems important hanging, right? And sometimes you can just ping the maintainers if you feel your pull request isn't getting enough response, and yeah, they'll make sure it gets enough attention it requires, right? So it is open source, big project, first time contributing to docs. I can tell you this is your best bet to contribute to Async API. And we have amazing folks that can help you. We have Anissa, Tuli, sure as hell Tuli would want to help. So you can say a lot of people would really help you, fix whatever it is you're trying. Now I think that's my question concerning dogs. So we are kind of out of time. So I'm gonna just ask one last question, right? So what advice would you give people that are looking forward to start contributing to open source documentations?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. You can go, Anissa.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, it was one of the first few tips I received from Alejandra. So once you go to the async API repository, and the first thing you do as a beginner is look for good first issues with docs and good first issues tags with them. And there are a lot of times you are not like all of these issues are taken already, or as a new contributor you are not able to complete all of them. So the thing you can do is go through the existing documentation from the main website, and if you find any errors or any typos or any mistake, you can just create a new issue in the GitHub repositories. So this is allowed in the async API community, and the maintainers will review that issue. And if it is a legit issue, you can ask the maintainers, hey, I want to work on this issue, I'm a beginner to this community. And that's actually a great way to start. I started out like this by creating my own issue, and it got merged. It was a small typo, and it got merged in the end.
Awesome, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anissa?
so one thing I would just like to add is that when it comes to contributing to open source, it's very important to be patient, right? Because there are like lots of contributors to a project and very few are maintainers. So they have tons of work to do and all of that. So if you're like, okay, I've done this and my pull request is not merged, I feel patience is really key. If like at some point you don't get response, you can just like had, okay, please can you help review my pull request, I would love your feedbacks and all of that. But it's just really important to be patient because the number of maintainers to contributors is very like the gap is really large, so it's very important to be patient when it comes to contributing to open source.
Awesome. That's nice. Tuli, you have any advice for me?
Yes. Be open minded as well. On top of being patient, very important. Like when you receive feedback, you must be open minded and be willing, like to implement feedback. Because I know sometimes, like we said, our first pull request, we had a bunch of comments, a bunch of feedback. It can get overwhelming. Somebody can get offended, even like, okay, I put so much work into this. Why are you saying it's wrong? Or why are you saying I should have taken this approach instead of the one that I use? So being open minded is very, very important when it comes to open source. That's all I can add to what the others have said.
Well, that's a great addition. Florence, wanna share your tip?
Yeah, sure. I think from my time contributing at Async API, the major takeaway that I have is to learn how to be a good communicator, like to, especially when you're working in open source, you really need to invest in your communication skills and also be really receptive to feedback because most of these projects are maintained by a lot of people. So the pull request review process can be really, really lengthy. So um, just maintain clear communication with the maintainers, with whoever is reviewing your documentation, and make sure that you're also receptive to the feedback. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the main takeaways for me.
Well, that's big. That's more than big enough of a takeaway. So, that, actually, that's nice. Actually, and I feel you guys act things clear for folks that are interested in contributing to open source, right? For the first time, and also you also make it even more clearer in terms of contributing to async API docs, and I think that is more than enough, right? And I'm pretty sure, um, if folks that would be watching this the live stream later on would eventually learn a lot, because even me actually that I started like spending more time writing docs, I actually like learned a lot, and from what Suli Florence said about communication, and I think that's a big part actually. And I felt if I wasn't familiar with open source, right? If it was my first time actually contributing to open source, I think I would be pissed, right? Because I had like this comment back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I would have said, "Oh fuck it, I'm done." Because I'm like, yeah, actually, because and that's it. I think the communication is a big part, and also patience, right? And you have to be patient also, and that consoles. We have few maintainers and a lot of contributors, so that's not an easy work to do. So people have other things they are doing. So
Yeah.
and they give enough time to like review your pull request. Take have patience, right? And also, Patrick said something amazing, right? You should be able to also like if you find something, create an issue. If you let's say an instance is maybe you just started to open and in the list of issues you didn't see anything you feel you can handle, right? Maybe they are more bigger than you think. We can also create an issue yourself. Maybe you find something like a typo, or something that's not clear enough, right? You can create an issue. It's a KPI welcome, right? So feel free to create an issue, then feel free to open a pull request for that because we accept all types of contributions, right? From docs to designs to a lot of things, right? So as far as the count as contributions. So since today is about documentation, I felt we've learned so much about documentation and your journey into open source is amazing. Like definitely amazing. I thought I had the best journey, but wow, hats off. You guys won. You guys won. So really you won. So I'm gonna keep my story to myself. I'm not telling anybody my story anymore. I'm just gonna drop a link.
No.
Wanna learn about open source? I will just drop the link to this video. Go look at how these people like ended up in open source. That's what I'm gonna do. So I really, really appreciate you guys, honoring this call. I said it earlier today. I was hoping to just have one person, but the whole house turned up. So this has been fun, right? And I hope maybe later this live stream, or maybe later we could have another live stream where we might talk about dogs, and we would eventually have Alejandra also on the call. Just thinking out loud, I'm not sure if it will be possible, but if it is possible, then definitely I would love to also like bring you guys along, and you guys get to like meet Alejandra on live stream. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would also try to like work towards that because I don't want this. This is our first. Let's talk about contributing. That is dogs related, right? And I don't want it to be the last, right? Because one of the things I'm trying to do is to be as diverse as possible in this live. Let's talk about contributing streams, right? So from designs to documentation to all sort of things, right? So thanks you guys for joining this stream. I'm really honored. I can't wait to see you guys do amazing stuff with the community. And yeah, thank you, Anisha, for joining this call. I know it's quite early for you, but yes, you made it. It's
I
still
know, right?
amazing. Yeah, so
Thank you.
Pratik, it's an honor having you today. I'm just saying, you for the only person I've seen a face is Florence and Tully during the conference, and I'm just saying Anissa and Pratik and Nelson for the first time. So nice seeing you guys, and you guys just like jumped on the call. It's been amazing. It's been an
Nice to see
amazing
you too.
call. Yeah, for real. And thanks for stepping, having conversation even while I was gone. Like, isn't that amazing? So, of course,
It was
you guys
fun.
didn't make it look like, yeah, you guys didn't make it look like I had technical issues at all. So, yeah, I thought I would be the only host, but everyone is a host.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, everyone is a host. So, thanks for joining this call, guys. So I would have to take you guys backstage now, and yeah, go enjoy your day. Thank you,
Right.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Yeah, so that is the end of today's live stream. And yeah, because you see, today's live stream was fun. We had a lot of folks today, and most all the folks we have today are all participants of the Google Summer of Dogs 2022, and they are doing amazing stuff with the community. And you can see they're joining to open source and how you can start contributing to open source. So they actually explain how you can start contributing to open source based on their understanding. I can start contributing to a single API based on your understanding. So why should you contribute? You say we have amazing communities, and yeah, so that's basically everything for today's live stream. So if you like this video or you find this stream helpful, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also feel free to join our Slack channel and GitHub. So just start contributing because open source is life. So thanks guys for joining us today. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace.